Gallant heroes, all good men, drilled and honed in Featherston, marched north, ripe and eager to their pace. Brothers, cousins, husbands, sons, wagons, horses, bugles, drums, tripping to the summit like a snake. Rain on the wind.
During World War I, the first job for new recruits arriving at Featherston's army camp was picking up rocks. They had to move big round river stones left behind by the Tauheraniko River as it meandered across the South Wairarapa. This arduous, back-breaking job is recalled in the Riverstone Memorial on Featherston's main street, one of New Zealand's more distinctive war memorials. In spring, it is enlivened by the blossoms of the cherry trees planted around it. 2 kilometres north of the town, a less obvious roadside memorial marks the site of the Featherston camp. A faded notice board, almost hidden by flax bushes, tells us that up to 8,000 troops lived here during training before leaving for the war. At the end of the 8 weeks basic training, the recruits route marched across the Rimutaka Range to Wellington, where they embarked for service overseas. The camp hardened men for the rigours of war, but the closeness of their accommodation led to disease. Influenza and meningitis outbreaks claimed a number of lives. Near the roadside memorial, there is an inscription on a small plaque.
Behold the summer grass, all that remains of the dreams of warriors.
This Japanese-style inscription is a reminder of a very different sort of camp that existed here during the Second World War. Over 800 Japanese prisoners of war were held in the old Featherston Army camp. The Japanese were made to work growing vegetables, making furniture, running a jute mill and a piggery, as well as shifting rocks. To the Japanese, however, capture and internment meant a loss of face. Being made to work added to their humiliation. In February 1943, the Japanese refused to work and instead congregated within the prison compound. Armed guards trained rifles and machine guns on the discontented group. The senior officer of the Japanese prisoners, Lieutenant Commander Adachi, did little to help resolve the impasse. When the New Zealand soldier in charge shot Adachi in the shoulder, the Japanese prisoners rushed the guards, who in turn opened fire. When the shooting stopped, 48 Japanese prisoners lay dead, and a further 74 were injured. One of the New Zealand guards received severe injuries during the incident and died a few days later. Another small memorial in the roadside reserve remembers Private Walter Palvin. Though it was a major event, the riot never made the news due to the strict press censorship that was in effect during wartime. A later inquiry attributed the cause to cultural misunderstanding. The Japanese apparently did not understand their obligation to work, and the New Zealand authorities had not made the text of the Geneva Convention available in the camp. There was much ill feeling towards the Japanese amongst New Zealanders during World War II. New Zealand feared invasion from their enemy, and Kiwi troops taken prisoner by the Japanese in the Pacific were made to work like slaves on arduous projects such as building railways. With little food and regular beatings, these men often laboured until they dropped dead. More than half a century after the war, little sign remains of the Featherston camp. Yet in the 1980s, the creation of this roadside memorial reserve led to reconciliation with the Japanese and a memorial to the slain prisoners. 48 flowering cherry trees stand in a grid, creating a garden of remembrance, each tree marking a Japanese prisoner who died.
You are all gone, and your tents and wooden barracks stand